Welcome back to a Celtic State of Mind. I'm Paul John Dykes, and I am here on my own at the moment, but I will be joined by Chris McElwain to discuss Celtic 3, Motherwell 1. And I'm going to basically throw out a few of my observations, and hopefully you can let me know what you think in the comment section as well. Graham Cotter, Cork is proud v Adam. I want to start off with Adam Idah. Adam Idah comes in a otherwise disappointing transfer window, and he was written off by a lot of onlookers, observers, even Celtic fans, I guess, because he was deemed to be Norwich's third choice striker. He has been the man today to come on and really make a massive difference for Celtic. Huge goals, massive importance. And I'll tell you something, at half-time I had 3,100 plus on the stream. Where are all the commenters with the Union Jack emojis at full time? I can't see many of you in there because you get a wee bit carried away. You're not used to being in a title race. You get a wee bit carried away. Celtic had to turn it round at half time. I mentioned that Brendan Rodgers got 45 minutes to save our season, and we did it. And I'll tell you something, the nerves can't take much more of this, but if I have to go through that every single week for the next 11 league games, if it means we get 3 points every time, I'll take it. We need to start looking at the fact that we can't play with that kind of level of quality, intensity, creativity for 90 minutes. We seem to be a one-half team at the moment, unfortunately. But here we are, and we have won the 3 points. And I'm telling you, with regards to that performance in the second half, that's the type of performance that we need to be putting in every single week. There was far more drive, more bite. It's not down to effort, I don't think. It's just more of a tempo, an issue with tempo. We've now got Alistair Johnston, and we've got Greg Taylor, Cameron Carter-Vickers back in the side. I think the changes that we made today, we're going to have to talk about them. Awata came in. I thought he'd done really well. I could hear a few boos when he came off because of the displeasure that he was coming off rather than anything to do with his performance or the man replacing him. I think Novroski came in. I didn't see much wrong with his performance. Let me know in your comments if you agree or disagree with that. And I think that Yang came in and made a huge impact, very positive impact on the right wing. I think that you're leapfrogging Kuhn in the start 11 there if you're Yang. And also Idah. Of course, we'll come back to Idah as well. And at the very death, Palmer coming in, and I know that he's got a wee bit of stick. Chris is going to join me in just a second here. In all the excitement, I didn't even invite him to join me. There he is. Chris, sorry, I could have pretended it was your fault. I'll take that one all day long. Feeling a wee bit hoarse after the second half performance. And it's just, listen, this team is not perfect, Chris. It's far from perfect. That's the type of victory we're going to be getting. And I'd much rather that than dig it out than, the continuation of the first half performance, which for me was really poor. I think I want to focus on the second half performance because it was far brighter, far more positive. Let's start off with Adam Idah. He's a guy who, as I've been saying to the commenters out there, he's a guy who's got a bit of stick, and I don't think it was a personal thing. I think it was down to the fact that we all had an idea of what we wanted to do in the January transfer window. Idah comes in, everybody's going on about him being third choice striker. We're only aware of him because he's a Sydney Van Hooijdonk move to Norwich, etc. But I'll tell you something, he scored 2 massively important doubles, and today was his second brace. He was brilliant in his performance in that second half, Chris.
Yeah, I mean, I'm an emotional wreck at the moment. I was gearing myself up.
Celtic's brilliant for that. I mean, they take you to the highest peaks, then knock you to the depths. Sometimes all in the one game.
I was geared up. It was like getting myself geared up for a fight. I was getting ready for. It's like segue. When I met the guys at the Celtic Trust meeting the other day, they were asking how's it going on. Since you joined Acsom, I was like, yeah, it's great. But you've done a couple of match days there. We'd never do match days. That must be a nightmare. And I was like, no, I've quite enjoyed doing match days. And about 5 minutes before the end, I was like, I can see what the guys are talking about. But the best thing, I get he came on, and now we've won that game. We've actually won it probably a little bit more comfortably than we maybe deserved to over the course there. But has there ever been a more Celtic orientated type of win than that one? And going to Idah, I mean, look, I don't care where you come from. I don't care how much it costs. I don't care what your reputation is before you arrive at the club. See if you can come and do the business in big moments like that. That's enough for me. That's what I want to see. The big man, once he came on, put himself about. He was strong. He was mobile. He was tying up the defenders. He was showing, he was holding off challenges. And when the big moments came, and I know, look, he missed a couple as well, but that header was a superb header to get us back into the game. And when you do that, you start to get that wee bit of belief. And then
this is a striker that can't head the ball, apparently, Chris.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, looked all right to me. It does that, and he never stopped. And doubt did start to creep in. So Idah missing a couple of chances, probably 3 or 4 big chances that we should have had. Palma missed one. As we were hitting the 90 minutes, you're thinking again, okay, it's going to be a 1-1. You can't see it, but that is why we used to say we never stop. Right? It's that kind of attitude, and that's what we needed. We've had this Jekyll and Hyde, kind of type of performance thrown at us. Jekyll and Hyde doing decent in the first half, second half's away. We'll actually had Hyde versus Jekyll today, because first half was diabolical. It was dreadful. It was one of the worst pieces of football I think I've seen in a good few years. But that second half, the attitude was there, the work ethic was there. Still, I don't want to paper over the cracks. The things that weren't perfect. We didn't. We should never be leaving it as late as that to get comfortable in games. But you win championships through grit, through determination, through that never say die attitude. And I think Idah, along with a few other players in that second half, really exemplified that today. I'm delighted. I'm relieved. I'm relieved is probably a better way to say. I'm slumped into the chair, kind of out of breath. don't really know how to feel, to be honest.
Everything feels better when Celtic win. Some of the points I was raising there in relation to Idah, for example, you've got the goals, but I think someone makes a brilliant point. It wasn't just his goals. He was excellent. Here we go. Hammy brings it up. Idah was excellent, even out with the goals. His general hold-up play was class. If a striker like Chris Sutton is saying that the headed goal was a phenomenal header, you take note of that, right? Because he, for me, Chris Sutton, was a game changer in my Celtic supporting life. I've seen a lot of kind of big guys who were good in the air. Jan Vennegoor Hesselink was good, I thought. Van Hooijdonk was a handy player in the air. Nobody was better than Henrik Larsson. But that was just one aspect of his game. Chris Sutton was phenomenal. John Hartson was phenomenal. So when you get a compliment from Big Sutty, also a former Norwich player, you take it. But I think Hammy's right. His general hold-up play was class. There was a moment near the end of the game where he's thinking, right, I've got the strength, I've got the muscle, I'm going to take this to the corner flag and do that thing that Big Dembele used to do and just basically guard the ball with your life. And rather than try and throw another ball into the box, Chris, it was just that wee bit of savvy that we've been missing recently.
Yeah, and that's it. That's what I think we've been crying out for, is having someone who can hold the ball up and bring other players into it. Just tie up the defenders. We've been making it too easy for central defenders to play against us. We can't hold the ball up. We're trying to get past them, and we're not got the strength. Idah looks as though he's got the strength, but he's also got a bit of mobility about him as well. For that second goal, him putting himself in the position there as he's heading in towards the near post, that was brilliant. That was instinctive striker play. I want to see more of that. I still want to see us play 2 up front. I don't know what the reason for Kyogo coming off was today, whether it's performance or I thought he'd maybe got tweaked an injury. And I would like to have seen him stay on to put more pressure up front. But for Idah to go in and be that sole striker, he was absolutely outstanding. He did bring other players into it. He held the ball up. I mean, the foul, which I actually thought should have been a red card for denying a goal scoring opportunity. The ball's got 2 hands on him, and he still managed to turn. And actually, he wasn't far away from it. From getting away from the player and getting the shot on goal. So I thought that was a clear red card foul. But he gives you that option. He's going to win fouls in and around the box. He's got that ability to kind of back into players. As was mentioned, but he has got that goal scoring ability about him. And look, I know his record at Norwich isn't great. We judge him on what we see him doing up here. I think
Yes.
that's we've got to judge him on what we see him doing up here. I don't care what he's done for the past 2, 3, 4, 5, whatever years. What he's doing up here is what we should judge him on. If he has a bad game, we'll judge him on a bad game up here. If he has a good game or a good half like he did today, I think he deserves all the credit in the world. So yeah, I thought Big Man was great.
Yeah, you're right, and I think that we're in that position now where Brendan Rodgers has played a style, particularly from the wings, the delivery from the wings, that has not been suiting Kyogo. If Kyogo is injured, I would be gutted at that, because that's a reoccurring. He was holding the shoulder and all this kind of stuff. It's a reoccurring injury. Potentially, I hope it was precautionary. But what's happened when he does come on is that the crossing for me suited the target a lot better. And I'm not just talking about high balls into the box, but they are more lofted crosses. Although, in saying that, I'll tell you, Yang played a couple of cracking, low, hard balls into the box. And it takes me on to Mick's comment here. And I'm not going to try and dig out too many Celtic players today. There's a couple of guys for me weren't at the races on the wings, actually. Maida was, for me, away from the goal, I think some of his work was brilliant. He doesn't give defences a chance. He closes them down. He pins them back. He blocks them out. He blocks out spaces and all that. But when the ball's flighted across the box like that on 2 occasions, both of them have got to be scored. Both of them have got to be scored. And you look at those 2 chances he's had, and it would have been a much more comfortable afternoon for Celtic had they gone in. I think that the VAR decision, just because we've won, we can't ignore bad refereeing decisions. I think the VAR and also the penalty shout that didn't even get a look by Colum, I thought were poor decisions. I mean, it's easy to say that wasn't a goal scoring opportunity, but see once Idah turns, once he's turned his man, you look at the distance between the 2 Motherwell defenders.
Yeah,
there's a gaping space for Idah.
He's dead central.
He's going to shoot. Yeah, he's going to shoot. So I think there's an argument there. Obviously, the red card wasn't forthcoming, and we did the business without having to rely on it. But I am keen to get as many of your thoughts in as possible, so keep them coming in the comment section. James Riley, thank you for supporting the channel. Upwards and onwards for the champions. Momentum starts here. Listen, James, I've been saying it since the Hibs game. Is this a turning point? I'm now resigned, I think, to the fact that we're going to have many more afternoons like this, Chris. And if we do, and it goes to 95, 96 minutes, and we have to pull it out the fire like that, listen, I'll take it, because it's all about getting the 3 points at the moment. Brendan Rodgers cut the figure at the end of that game of a very relieved man. I said at half-time, I wasn't throwing toys at the pram saying sack the manager. I've never said it all season. What I was saying is, you've got 45 minutes to save the season. Yeah. And we did it. And I come away happy. There was there's always a Nostradamus in the comment section. Oh, I said this would happen. I said that would happen. And at halftime, we were talking about potential changes in the team. And this particular individual who loves to tell you he's Nostradamus after the event. Your professional advice to Brendan Rodgers. Well, he made the changes that were suggested. And the best change, obviously, after Idah, was Yang. Yang came on to a great game in the second half. He looks far more direct, flowing with confidence. He's a big, strong unit, actually, Yang, isn't he? Because he looks, because he's lean, Chris, I don't think you give him so much credit, but he's a strong runner. And he was really involved in most of our positive play in the second half. And for me, between now and end of the season, you're playing your form players. Kuhn's out the team now for me. Yang's in the team.
Yeah, interestingly enough, I got a text from my old man saying exactly that. He said he thought Yang was the one that changed the game when he came on, and I think there's a definite point there. Yang, the one word of caution I would have over Yang is he is coming on late in the games up against tired defenders, right? But I think that's not necessarily a bad thing, right? That's maybe where we try and use some of these wingers who are maybe not doing it from the start, but you're bringing them on. You know, guys got good running, good ability. And if they're coming up against tired defenders, maybe they're finding space that they're not finding in the first half or the first 60 minutes of matches. But yeah, for me, Yang came on. He's thrown the crosses in that we want to see, which we've been crying out for. Low, fast, quick reactionary crosses. That's what we've been asking for ages. I mean, I think Kyogo would have probably thrived on that second, that second chance for Idah that he put in the net. But yeah, Kuhn, not great for me today overall. I think there was more effort there than I've seen before. He was trying a few things, but it didn't really come off for him. And he was part of a team that was really struggling at that point. I think Jan came on, gave us that energy, coupled with Idah's ability to tie up defenders, bring the players in. I thought worked really well. I thought Taylor started to come on more of a game. That cross for Idah's first goal was absolutely sublime. But again, I'm asking the question: why is that not coming for the wingers? That type of delivery. Idah, I look at. He's 85% a top player, right? He's 85% of being a top player. But it's the 15% he doesn't have that's killing us, and it's the killer instinct in the final delivery is absolutely killing us in games. He gives enough for me to be a positive influence on the team. I think he brings attributes and he brings traits, and he didn't stop. I mean, for the full match, he was trying in there, and his energy levels didn't drop, which is a great attribute. But some of those chances should be getting put in net, and it's something that he's just. I don't know if it's something he can develop or he can build on his game. I hope so, because I think if he does, we've got a hell of a player there. But with the 11 games I think we've now got to go, we need him to bring that 15%, that clinical killer edge to his game that's just not there at the moment.
When it comes to things like instinctive play, I don't think you can add that to a player's game. But when it comes down to something, I say as simple, as fundamental, as rudimentary as crossing a ball, right? Yeah. I think you can work on that. It doesn't matter what age of a footballer you are, right? And I think that, people that disagree, and they have disagreed in the past with players that are over a certain age, they can't be developed. Just look at some of the development of the players under Brendan Rodgers' first time round, who were no spring chickens. Scott Brown, the changes in his game under Brendan Rodgers, Scott Sinclair. You can take a player, Chris, regardless of their age, and you can refine certain elements of the game. Things like anticipation, that type of reactionary player, you can't really teach that. That's very much a natural thing. But passing, tackling, shooting, heading the ball, these are things that absolutely can be improved upon. And I know that Harry Kewell was working with our offensive players right up until he's left. And it was almost a matter of time. You knew he was interested in management, coaching. He wanted to be his own man. But I think there's something to be said with that. With our forward players maybe struggling to fit Brendan Rodgers' idea of how we deliver the balls into the box. Someone within the club, someone outside of the club, we need to focus on it again, I think. And it can be improved. I would never ever suggest for a moment, regardless of your age as a footballer, or even any kind of sportsman, you can see how boxers, tennis players, they get a certain coaching and they improve certain elements of their game. It happens, and it's the same with football. So that extra 15% that you're talking about takes Idah from a very, very useful first choice Celtic player to someone who's on a different level.
I think so.
That's the thing that you've got to be aware of as well, because once you turn them into that player, you inevitably lose them. Soft Scots, I'm going to bring this up. I think it's a great point, and it's often forgotten on days like today.
Yep.
Half time, I think I used the St Johnstone example, Chris, and I said, we need that same turnaround in the second half, whereby we come out, the traps. It's a different tempo. We win the game 3-1, and it's happened, right? And a big part of that game at St Johnstone was Joe Hart's save at the very death. Right in at the post. He saves it, left-handed save. We break away, we score a goal, and it seals the 3 points. Joe Hart's save today, just as important, by the way.
Beautiful. Sophie's absolutely spot on. That for me could be as important as the goals we ended up scoring. I was massively concerned at the lack of centre back presence when that ball went in. It was a spot on header. It was going in. Joe Hart has pulled us out of the coals again. He's pulled us out the fire. That was an immense instinctive save, and it's something we continually point out with Joe Hart. Look, he's got his deficiencies as a goalkeeper. Most goalkeepers have them, but I know there's this view that a top Celtic goalkeeper should be doing that for us. But look, that's easy to say. That save could very well be the big contributory factor to us winning the title. Because if we'd lost a goal there and gone behind again, I don't know if we would have recovered. I don't know if our guys have got the mental strength to recover. from that with the position they're in at the moment. So that was a huge moment in that game, and it could end up being a huge moment in the season. So yeah, absolutely full credit to Joe Hart, and again, it just increases my view that we should hold him up as a top player for us when he eventually does retire.
Yeah, let's just hope that the last act of Joe Hart is to lift the Scottish Cup in May to seal a double. Listen, it's going to be tough. Jim Orr on Friday was brilliant. Jim was speaking about, look, this is a title race. Embrace it. There's going to be moments. There's going to be moments where you think you're down and out and then something happens. And today was one of those days, right? It's not as convincing as beating Hearts 5-0 at Ibrox, right? Were you excited in that second half? Chris, were you entertained as a Celtic fan in that second half? I think I was.
Depends how you define entertainment. I think there's a fair amount of stress involved as well. Quite a lot of swearing going on, and you should probably see from the group chat where we're going back and forth. Bloody hell, you know. But it's that's what football's about, right? And I don't know if my heart will take another 11 games in the same circumstance, but see if we get the same result for the next 11 games, I'll take it. I'll take it all day long. That's ultimately that's what it's about. As I said, we've got to keep winning. We've got to keep beating the teams that are in front of us. Forget what Rangers is doing. They're not our concern until we actually come to play them. But for the 11 games that's left, we've got to beat every team. It's one-off games. It's cup finals. Sound the klaxons all you want. I don't care. It is every game's a cup final just now, and every game is going to be determined on moments like we saw today with Idah. Brilliant. Good on him. Give him all the credit in the world. Really need him to continue doing it. Jan coming on, having that kind of impact. I mean, it doesn't matter who's starting or who's coming on as substitutes. Everybody's got to play to the level. I think I want to give a big shout out to the supporters there who stayed to the end. I mean, our supporters deserve the best players, the best performance, the best team, and the best effort on the park. And they deserve to be able to enjoy moments like this. I mean, the guys that are out there supporting, whether they're doing it for their armchairs, they're at the stadium, they're backing the team to the hill, and they stayed behind there for the goals to go in, and thankfully the team was able to reward them. But is it enough to save Rob, save Brendan? If we get to the end, I mean, you've got to give him credit. If it takes, ultimately, the best team will win the title, the best manager will win the title. I do think he's got work to do to bring the supporters back on side. I mean, I'll set my stall out. I wanted Brendan back. I wanted him back. I was pleased with it. I wasn't one of the naysayers. I understand what the resistance to bringing him back. I absolutely get that. So I'm not a happy clapper, rah-rah fan or anything like that. But for me, I want to judge him similar to the players. I want to judge him on what we achieve this season. And if we don't win the title, I think his time's up. If we scrape by the title, I'm maybe on the fence. I don't know. It depends what happens in terms of the summer, in terms of recruitment. We need to see an improvement in performance between now and the end of the season. We need to win the games, and we need to see. Just don't make us suffer like this, for the next 11 games. I
know. Don't keep me suffering. You and Boy Martin at half time came on, and there he is supporting. He's supporting the channel always, Ewan. Never in doubt, lads. Keep the faith. Keep the faith, indeed, my friends. And PK, we didn't crumble this time and live to fight another day, but we need to massively improve. You know the Easter Road game, and I was talking about turning points. You're trying your best to find little nuggets, little glimmers of hope. I think what I'm talking about is a team that can be up against it, like often in adversity. They come through it. It galvanizes them. It helps the morale of the team. Puts a smile on their face, a smile on a player's face that we're not going to be angered by, which will take us on to Palmer. Any idea what was on Palmer's shirt? Let us know in the comment section.
I was trying to figure out.
Wrong answers only. Absolutely. Was it Spanish or something? I'm not sure. Stephen Kennedy. Rogers looked a very relieved man. Weren't we all, Stephen? Weren't we all, mate? And Maestro, 95. Jan done well along with Idah. Just shows you it can turn. I think we're at a stage at the moment where you're playing your form players. I think both of their guys start during the week. I don't think there can be any complaints about it. But a couple of the other boys that came in, Chris, we had Awata, defensive mid, we had Novroshki, centre half. I thought they did well. Carter Vickers obviously starts at the back, but you've now got an option there with regards to Nawrocki. I suggested a couple of weeks ago the partnership could well be, it could develop as Carter Vickers Nawrocki. I mean, Scales, listen, you've seen him celebrating at the end of the game, how much it means to a player like Liam Scales, how great a season he's had. I think he does slow us down. I think that, as I say, the kind of the pace that he breaks at, the pace that he carries the ball at, Chris, takes far too many touches at times.
Yeah.
And it does affect us. I thought Nawrocki did well. You know, tell me otherwise in the comments if you disagree.
I was surprised to see him hit. I thought over the two centre backs, I thought he was a better performer today in terms of what we needed. I think Scales had a great chance with a header in that second half, but overall, I thought he didn't have one of his best games. And I think you're right. It's not necessarily, he's not doing huge amounts wrong in terms of his fundamentals. I thought his passing was poor at times today, but he slows the pace down. You know, he doesn't have that ability to release the ball quickly or spot a move, building and react to it. And I thought Nawrocki is a bit more, you know, he seems a bit more capable of doing that. I think you're right. I would like to see Carter Vickers and Nawrocki given a run as a settled defence. I don't mean this to say that's Scales done. I think he'll still have his part to play. I think there's still a player in there, but I would like to see Brendan mix it up a little bit at the back and go with Carter Vickers and Nawrocki now they're fit. I think, you know, now we've got Taylor back. I thought Johnson first half not brilliant. I think you mentioned maybe the mask was affecting him. I thought second half came on to a better game,
much better.
Much better stages. And I think if we can just get a settled back four that are playing comfortably, building up an understanding, playing with smell in the face, as you say, and are helping to build those attacks at a pace that we need it. We need to build that. Then I think that's the partnership I'll go with.
See, Johnston, I don't think it's a coincidence, Chris, that his performance improved in the second half because he had a player in Yang in front of him. I mean, Kuhn, for me, very reluctant to write anybody off, but I never saw anything. I've seen nothing from Kuhn in his performance today that would suggest that he is going to be in the starting team sheet during the week.
No, I agree. I mean, I think there could be a player in there, but I'm viewing him now as a guy that we do have to try and develop. And I know it seems ridiculous when you're talking about 24 years old, when a winger should be, approaching kind of peak years. But the point is he's not had a huge amount of football, and certainly not a huge amount of top flight football. And he's just in the door. I think you take him out the firing line a little bit. And I think what you do is Yang's had more time to adapt now. His confidence will be high because of the way he performed, you would hope, coming in. Maybe we give Kuhn the same opportunity. Maybe we bring him on later in a game against a tired defence and give him the opportunity to go and run against tired legs and actually maybe, show his attributes, under slightly easier circumstances. Maybe that's how we build his confidence up. Maybe that's how we build his understanding up. It's just, the wings are just problem positions for us at the moment. There's a winning formula there. We just need the manager to try and find it. And I think when we do, we'll be in a much stronger position.
Yeah, talking of stronger positions, CCV is back. Frank regards him as the best player in Scotland. He gives us an assuredness at the back. He's everything. He slows it down to a pace that suits him, but he never ever, for me, he never flaps. He looks up, he takes his time, he picks out a pass. He's phenomenal, and the fact that he's back in the team for me is huge. And we're now waiting on Rio coming back. There's been mixed different information midway through March to the end of March, I've been hearing. So we need to get him back in the team as well. Jean Paul II, how did Maida miss from on the line? Well, he's done it a few times, let's be honest, right? And other than that, I thought Maida played pretty well, but the change had to be made. Palma had to come on when he did. Young Bats, that lofty ball into the box is frustrating. I had fallen out with all my family there. Now he needs to go back and grovel with them. Listen, we've all been there. We've all been there, right? Kev Dunn had us down for a loss at half-time, lacked confidence, yeah. And we said there was no question, even a draw, not good enough. I'll tell you one thing, though. See, against Kilmarnock, where it was announced how much injury time was being added on, and we were 1-0 up at the time, I thought I still wasn't confident. See, when the time added on was announced at Motherwell there, I thought to myself, we're winning this. I still had the confidence we were going to win.
We were on the front foot. That was the difference. We were on the front foot, right? We performed well for the bulk of that 45 minutes in the second half. Few flaky moments, the one that Joe Hart bailed us out in particular. But I thought we were on the front foot, and there looked to be a little bit of belief there, and that was exemplified, as we said, by Yang, much more direct, firing crosses. Idah was just on it, he was just on a game, and I think he felt he was going to get another one, and I thought, yeah, that the potential was there, but very similar to Kev, I won't deny it. At half time, based on the first half performance, I was like, no, I can't see this. I can't see where this is coming from. And then you get misses like my Idahs. I was wavering a little bit, but I just thought towards the end there, when we're starting to get a little bit of penetration, I thought, yeah, that there's potential. But I'm not going to say I was 100% confident, because I'd be lying. I wasn't. I was quietly, stressfully confident.
Like it. Charlie Connolly, welcome to the show. Idah and Yang have to be starters. I agree with that. You play the guys on form now. Jim McLaughlin couldn't watch the last period of the game. I'm 67. Not good for the health, says Jim. That's what Celtic does to you, mate. Paul, love Scales, but he moves too slow. Is that Ronnie Glavin? It is. It's Ronnie Glavin in the avatar.
Oh, that's what it is.
Look at that. That is vintage. Look at that hair.
That's a hair. I was going to say that's a hair.
Beautiful head of hair. Love Scales, but he moves too slowly with the ball. Paul, I'm getting that. And against Dundee, I still think he'll get picked. I think that Carter Vickers will come back in, Roski will take a seat on the bench. I'm basing that on what Brendan Rodgers has done this season. But I do agree with you, Paul, with what you say. Steve Lang, where was the fight in the first half or the other games of the season? Sometimes it comes down to personnel. I mean, even in the second half, I've not mentioned it. I thought that Matt O'Reilly came onto a game. He was getting criticism at half-time. Thought he had a much better second half. Greg Taylor, much better second half. Alistair Johnson, better second half. So you've got guys who have improved in the second half, and then you've got the changes that's improved the overall shape of the team and the urgency of the team, and we managed to get the goals, and that's the most important thing. I've got to thank every single one of you. I've got to commend Chris for his impeccable taste in both clothing and shade of green. Obviously, when you join the Acsom team, you're given an agenda, and you're given the Pantone for Acsom, and yourself and Lawrence have used the same tone of green in your office. Everybody else has to follow suit. That's how it works, Chris, isn't it? You're all given a script. You've all got to follow it, eh?
Oh, absolutely, yeah. It's just a list of prerequisites we've got to do. I think I mentioned when I joined, they said they were winding me up saying that it's like you've got to do Paul John's laundry, and you've got to go and mow somebody's lawn and do all that. But no,
just until somebody else comes along.
Well, do you know what? And hopefully, I don't mind me mentioning it. But yesterday, I was down at Lawrence's house, and Lawrence is building what's going to be I think a pretty tremendous bar. He's got an outbuilding on his property. And I have to say, I really enjoyed it. It was extremely welcoming, with a bit of a laugh, good bit of chat. It was great to get home. And he put me to work, so we're scraping wallpaper and we're getting the green paint on. And I won't spoil what the bar's going to look like, but I think it's going to be tremendous. But he's a good man, and everybody I've met. You mentioned Jim earlier, and I was at the Celtic Trust meeting with Jim. And if you think Jim's impressive on the podcast, you meet him in person, and that's if you to look up a picture of a true dying Celtic fan, I think you'd see a picture of Jim. Genuinely, I mean that man is just Celtic embodied. Incredible guy. He'll slag me off for saying that now. I'll be getting my absolute pelters in the group chat, but I don't care. See someone.
The good thing with Jim, he gave a rousing speech on Friday. Go and check it out on the channel on YouTube. And Jim obviously was an activist back in the day with Save Our Celts, which was a precursor to Celts for Change back in the 90s. And he was there at the forefront. He was on the telly getting spoken to by all and sundry. And he's a great contributor to Acsom. As are every single one of you who are tuning in. The subscription figures are going up, and we're just about at 15 million views. No other Celtic channel on the planet other than the club has hit 15 million. So thanks everybody for your support. Give us a wee thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel. Join us again tomorrow at 12:30. And I will also be doing a wee wander round Paradise. I've got a very special guest coming with me tomorrow, and it's Jamie Tierney Senior. And we're going to be talking about what we're going to do with some of the incredible items that have been sent in from people like Chris and others. Many of the signed jerseys are here and there. That's pretty hard when it's mirror image. And we're going to be running big auctions in March every single day. They're going to be done in such a way that, it's affordable, Chris. Everybody will be able to get their hands on some kind of Celtic memorabilia, be it a signed ball, a jersey, a print, all that kind of stuff, a canvas. We've got loads of items, and we're going to be raising some cash for the wee guy. So tune in.
If I could just mention on that, Paul John, just I think, you know, big shout out to everyone that's contributed to Jamie's fund. I'm actually doing the kilt walk this year, along with Jamie's dad and a team he's put together. So I'll be reaching out for sponsorship on that. But I think, you know, there's still places for that kilt walk. So if people want to maybe come along and support, you know, we're doing everything we can for the wee fella. And I believe he's doing his own assault course as well. He's doing his own 3K. So
yep.
Incredible for little fella with his condition, but he's an absolute warrior, and I couldn't wish him anything but happiness. And you know, I think everybody that's contributed, you know, good on you. It's an amazing cause.
Yeah. Now I'm going to have to ask you, right, because I think there's clues in the name. You basically walk with a kilt on. Is that the script, right?
You do. I think you can. I don't think it's mandatory, but
right.
I mean, the only kilt I've got is my wedding kilt, and that was back in 2012. So I need to check if I can still fit into the damn thing.
Well. That takes me on to what I was going to say. In terms of kilts, everybody's got their own taste when it comes to fashion. Ming's is obviously a mid-90s Matalan vibe. But when it comes to kilts, I've worn a kilt twice in my life, right? One of them was at a friend's wedding where I was part of the party and I had to wear a kilt. Another one was at a pantomime where I played Wee Jimmy, Prince of Glasgow. And I wore the centenary Celtic hoops. It was 1987, November, December time, with a full face of makeup. There are photographs available somewhere.
Look at those out.
Aye, so I think I was scarred for life. I've never been a big fan of kilts since then. But I was donning the hoops. Thanks, everybody, for getting involved. Join us tomorrow at 12:30, as usual, where I'll be joined by Acsom and Jerry. All the stuff for me to say. Chris McElwain, thank you for joining me on A Celtic State of Mind.
Thanks, Paul John. Cheers, everyone.